Hello, yes, hi, and welcome to the Dark Knight Conspiracies, Episode 3. You can't tell people, you have to show them. So, when COVID started, Trump allowed the states to set the lockdown rules. Now, why did he do this when he could have easily took control as he declared every state a national emergency and declared the country under a national emergency? It's optics. Constitutionally, Trump did the right thing. The power belongs to the states. Since Trump took office, all we heard was he's a dictator. He loves other dictators. Well, that was the left setting up their optics. However, what happened when the governors and mayors used their state authority, we saw severe abuse of powers, unlawful executive orders, and the states that are at the forefront of this are New York, Andrew Cuomo; New Jersey; Michigan, Governor Whitmer; California, Governor Newsom; Pennsylvania. We didn't see one Republican state. In fact, they handled their states lawfully, allowed businesses to semi-open. Only these Democrat-run states had the most severe lockdown orders, and they're all unconstitutional. So by Trump letting the states to do the governing, he exposed them and their agendas. People began to wake up and see what these governors and mayors were doing in their states. They didn't care about the people and the businesses. Their plan was to shut it down and kill the economy. And it's still going on today. And the plan was to hurt Trump for the election because they knew he would win on the economy. They are also counting on Nutsy Nancy to get them bailout money for their poorly run states that's been going on for decades and decades. Look at Congress. They haven't been able to get a deal done for 2 months now. And what is Pelosi's hardline? She wants $1 trillion bailout money for states. Trump has made the Treasury available for all states to borrow as much money as they need to help them through this crisis. But they don't want to have to pay it back. They want a gift from the Democrats. It's all corruption. It's all money laundering. We know this money doesn't go to the people. It goes into their pockets. Now let's take a look at these peaceful protests that have been going on. Now there's no riots according to the deep state, the Democrats, the mainstream media. No riots going on whatsoever. It's a conspiracy theory. Well, when is the last time peaceful protest caused $1 to $2 billion in damages to cities and businesses? Now, I've gotten into some heated discussions with family and friends over why hasn't Trump sent in the military to stop this? I mean, Portland's been going on for 100 days. He does have the authority to do it. He would have to declare martial law, and he would clean this up. But this is what the deep state was baiting him to do. They wanted him to do this because these protesters, these anarchists, they are organized and they're well funded. And I'm sure we've seen some of the tactics that they've deployed I'm sure they're also armed. So they were waiting for this confrontation with the military, and I do believe uh, there would have been casualties on both sides. But that was the bait that they were trying to get Trump into so they could portray him as a dictator and sway the narrative. Trump's too smart for this. How did Trump handle this? Well, he was tweeting and out there every day on TV saying, all the governors have to do is ask me. I'll send them in, but they gotta ask. He handled this constitutionally by the book. But what else did he do? He's showing the American people just how corrupt and how evil these people in political power are. And we share a responsibility in that because we're the ones that have been electing these people. We've been blind to this. This has been going on for decades. We're now at a tipping point. So we saw last night with RBG passing away, that's starting up a lot of fighting back and forth between the right and the left in government. So you can forget about any kind of relief package getting done because this now has taken to the forefront. It's all narrative change. Well, Trump, he's sitting on top of a hill right now, and he has a snowball in his hand. Well, he just let the snowball go down the hill. And as we know, that snowball is going to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger as it travels down the hill. Civil unrest is going to get worse, in my opinion, between now and the election, and possibly after the election. My advice to people, have enough food and water for 2 to 4 weeks, because we don't know how bad this is going to get. Now, I also am confident that Trump has a handle on all this stuff, and I also believe he will be reelected, and after his reelection, I do believe he will circle the wagons on these governors and these mayors that have allowed these protests and these riots to go on, the assassination of police officers. I mean, this is their playbook. Going after the police, defund the police. I want to move now to the mainstream media and how, along with our politicians, everybody's starting to show their true colors. You know, Q has told us, dark to light, dark to light. He's also told us, or she, we don't know who, that you can't show the people, or you can't tell the people, you have to show them. Well, this, in my opinion, has been successful because more and more people are waking up. I'm seeing more and more stories of moderate Democrats living in these states and these cities. They've had enough. They can't stand Trump, but they're not voting Democrat. So this will be interesting to see how this plays out. So this was a clip on Fox's Outnumbered on Thursday with Newt Gingrich. So let's take a listen and just watch the awkwardness of this conversation.
Pro-criminal and overwhelmingly Okay. So it's verboten.
All right, we're good.
So Newt said verboten, which is German for forbidden to talk about George Soros. The two people that interrupted him were Melissa Francis and Obama administration person Marie Harf, which I call Marie Barf. They're starting to expose themselves as to who they really are. So now on Friday's show, this was the rebuttal.
So we had a little incident on the show yesterday that was not smooth. And while I was leading that segment, we had interruptions, and I sat silently while all of that played out. Also, not ideal. Our guest, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, who is beloved, and needed to be allowed to speak with the openness and respect that the show is all about, was interrupted. Do we debate with fire here? Yes. But we must also give each other the space to express ourselves. As the only original member of the 6-year-old amazing daytime ride known as Outnumbered, I especially want to rock and roll with every voice and perspective at the table. We don't censor on this show, and that's why we're winning weekdays at noon.
Are you kidding me? We don't censor on this show? What did you think you just did to Newt Gingrich? You shut him down. Now, since then, Newt Gingrich came out with an op-ed talking about the whole incident. I'll make my prediction. I don't think you're going to see Newt Gingrich on Fox anytime soon. Just my prediction. Well, that'll wrap it up for this week's show. I thank everybody for their comments and subscriptions. I've taken everything to heart. Appreciate it all. And we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take care, everybody.